Hey everyone, Nick and Dad the Prof here. Well, I got something special for us today. I am a Florida Gator. I have an orange and blue heart, and that orange and blue heart is a little duller today. It's the day after the game that the Gators hosted against Texas A&M, and it didn't go that well. So, what I want to do here is talk a little bit about Gator football and try to get a handle on what exactly is going on here with this program, and not just this game, but this game was indicative of how things are going so far this year, and I'm fearful that maybe predictive of what's to come. So, anyway, let's get to it though. First thing I want to do is just give a general recap of the game. So, Texas A&M came to Gainesville on Saturday, September 14th. Played a home game. They had about a 40-minute weather delay for lightning in the area midway through the first half. By the halftime score being 20-0, A&M on top. It'd been raining really hard. At that point, I have to be honest, and I'm a diehard orange and blue Gator. At halftime, I was thinking, how did we come to this? How did this program get to this point? I don't know how the wheels came off here. So I'm a pretty optimistic person. I remain hopeful. I'm one of the more patient Gators, I think, in Gator Nation regarding the state of the football team. And I'm telling you, by halftime, I was thinking this is just not acceptable. Like there has to be something done differently. So anyway, when you're down at home 20-0 at halftime and the fans openly boo your coach as he's coming off the field and chant that they want Napier fired. I mean, I hurt for the guy. I really do. From all accounts, he's a good man. He's trying to instill the right lessons in the guys. It sounds like the culture of the team is good. And I mean, Napier talks about how they're doing things the way that they want them done behind the scenes, which is great. The problem, though, is that the whole point of the whole system is to be victorious on the field, period. You can, you can say the right things and do the right stuff, and you have to perform, though, at the end of the day. And Urban Meyer even said this many years ago. Someone was interviewing him, and I remember someone asked him about some player he had at the time, if he was a good guy. And I remember Urban giving some response like, no, he's a good guy and he's a good kid and all that, and that's all good, but, can he play the game? And that's important as well, separate and above the, is he a good person? Is he a good kid? Is he doing the right stuff? Yeah. And we also need to play the game effectively. So it's just not happening on the field right now, and it's a problem. It's a problem. So I just have some quick stats here to go over. Final score, of course, was 33-20 A&M. That makes it look closer than I feel like it really was. The Gators had an opportunity in the fourth quarter there to actually make it interesting if they would have had some fire and some energy, and I just didn't see that clicking on. And they really could have made it a one-score game, but it just didn't come to fruition, and that's part of what concerns me. Does the team have it deep down within? So anyway, the total time of possession was 37 minutes, 46 seconds for A&M to Gators 22 minutes, 14 seconds. What's that mean? That means Gator defense is on the field a lot, getting run down and beaten up, and they're tired. So, and that also means your offense doesn't have the ball enough to get the job done. So we're not doing ourselves any favors there. A&M ran for 310 yards with an average 5.6 yards per carry. Florida, are you ready for it? 52 yards total rushing for an average of 2.1 yards per rush. There's just nothing else to say. There's just nothing else to say about that. 310 yards rushing, you give up 310 yards, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. If you only rush for 52 yards, you better put up like 400 yards of passing. What'd the Gators do? They did better passing, 249 passing yards. It's not good enough, right? It just didn't get done. The problem is that there were 3 interceptions thrown as well. One of them was a garbage interception that was thrown in the end zone by the Gators. Didn't mean anything. But you're not going to win games if you're running for 52 yards and passing for 249. It's not going to happen. So the Gators' total yards of offense was 301. A&M's passing yards were 178. So they ran for 310. They passed for 178. A&M had a total of 488 yards. I remember when I first got to Florida in 2003, some people that were there at the time that I started to get to know, they were really down on the program. This was in 2003. The second year, I believe it was a second year of Ron Zook. And I said, what do you think of the Gator football team this year? And they said, we're going to be terrible. We're going to suck. And I said, okay, well, define that. What do you mean? Like, you're going to be terrible? What does that mean? And they go, we're probably going to be like 8-4 or something like that. It's going to be horrible. So I came from Pac-12, Pac-10. It was Pac-10 when I grew up, but I came from a couple of Pac-12 schools. And 8-4 is a good season. You know, you get a bowl game out of that, and that's pretty good. So that was my first introduction to Gator standards in 2003. And I learned really fast, yeah, the standards are very high. 8-4 doesn't feel very good. Right now, we're at 1-2 this season, and I'm looking at the schedule here, and I'm looking for wins for the Gators. We are at Mississippi State next Saturday, September 21st. Maybe we could get a win. Mississippi State's looking really rough, but that's going to be tough even for us. We're going on the road, and I think all bets are off at this point. I thought we'd be more competitive against A&M than we were. I thought that was a winnable game against A&M, and it just didn't happen. So we're looking at Mississippi State next week, University of Central Florida, home game for us 2 weeks after that, because we'll have a bye week after Mississippi State. I'm hoping that we can get at least one win out of that, because I'll tell you, after that it gets harder. Tennessee, Kentucky, and then the gauntlet. Georgia, Texas, and LSU, capped off by Ole Miss. I'm hoping that we can match 5-7, which is what we did last year. I mean, it's really something to say. And I think that really says it all. You know, if you're a Gator here, and if you're saying, man, I hope we get to 5-7 to match what we did last year, you really got to be introspective and think about what's happening with this program. So, again, dyed-in-the-wool orange and blue here. I'm trying real hard to be optimistic and hopeful, but on the other hand, when you really care about someone or something, I think you owe it to that person or that thing to be honest. That's part of showing care and concern. And my Gator heart it's vibrant orange and blue, is dulled, and it's just not a good situation here. There's not much good coming out of Gainesville right now. Oh, Nick, the weather conditions were bad yesterday, right? That's why the rushing game was so bad. What? Listen to yourself, because that's ridiculous. A&M played on the same field as the Gators did yesterday, and I already told you A&M got 310 rushing yards. It was possible to run on that field. Okay, so look, we can't make excuses like that at all. Lagway, I think he's got some potential. Definitely, he's a true freshman, so he needs time in the game. However, A&M was playing a true freshman, and look how that happened. He came in and just rocked it. I mean, he lit us up promptly, which was very disheartening under a first-year head coach. This was A&M's third game with their new head coach this year, and they had a freshman quarterback starting against the Florida Gators in Gainesville, and they walk out of there, A&M does, with a 33-20 victory. At least it means something to a program that beats the Florida Gators still. I mean, I'll take that as a, hey, at least we still have this reputation as being mighty or powerful or whatever. Otherwise, it wouldn't care to go into Gainesville and take a victory from the Gators. But at the same time, I fear that we have turned into the equivalent of many years back of what Vanderbilt was, which is a team to look at on the schedule and put a W next to. It's sad it's come to this. Again, orange and blue till I die, and at the same time, we're in distress right now. We need some relief. We need some help. I don't know how that looks. The obvious thing I haven't addressed yet is change of head coaching. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So that's the recap from where I sit in my dining room. I hope all is going well for you. Go Gators. I'll see you next time.